Let's get started with the 19th Soletta product update. As a marketer, you often have data coming from multiple sources, such as your campaign reports, analytics provider, or other SaaS tools. In order to make the best marketing decisions, these disparate data sources must be integrated together to gain an in-depth understanding of the full customer journey. To give a concrete example, let's start by asking a basic question that requires one table, then expand to a question requiring multiple tables. Suppose we want to understand our users by viewing a figure on the Salesforce data. Going to the Salesforce tab, we can focus on some attribute, like the stage the customer is at in the sales pipeline. So can I see a figure that shows the number of users at each sales stage? This will lead to some thinking behind the scenes and then a visualization. I can count the number of users using contact ID and then group by stage. Amazing. Now we have our sales data for the different types of stages. This looks great, but suppose we now want to limit this to some subset of users with additional criteria. Let's go deeper by finding the number of users at each stage, but limited only to users who follow some additional attribute. This requires looking at information within a second data source, for example, the MailChimp table, where normally you would need a foreign key column to join the two tables together. Perhaps we can filter to users who are part of the anniversary sale email campaign. So let's add that in. Users who were a part of the anniversary sale email campaign. Behind the scenes, we note that it's not actually that easy to join them. Dana originally thinks to look at contact ID and subscriber ID. But if we actually look closely at subscriber ID, it actually starts with MC something something like that as an ID. Within the Salesforce table, the contact ID actually starts with 901. So ultimately, we actually are joining based on email address and email. This doesn't really quite work. So now we have a new feature. What we're going to do instead is actually let's find a way to merge the MailChimp and Salesforce tables together into a new one. What we're doing then is kicking off a new flow for merging tables that don't have obvious columns for joining. Since there isn't a foreign key for joining the two tables, we need to figure out how to align them. Dana has already found the email and email address columns, but we can also consider adding first name and last name. If we go over to the Salesforce side, we can also add the first name here from the dropdown, or you can also just easily click on the table itself. Once we click next, now we have told Dana that we want to please merge the tables based on these particular columns. Now there are many columns selected for the new table name, which we might say we just want integrated customers. And given the columns selected, we might not need so many of them for answering our questions. And really, the choice is yours about what to keep. And so I'm going to unselect a number of these to keep things simple. What we've done then is chosen the columns that we want to have in the final integrated table. Now, what then happens is we have created a new table. We're going to create a new table called Integrated Customers that merges content from MailChimp and Salesforce. Now, when two rows have the exact same first name, last name, and email, those are automatically merged. However, many rows only share part of those values. Our job now is to resolve some of these conflicts. In this case, the last names are the same, but the first names are not. And so we might keep this separate. In this case, the first and last names are both the same, but the email addresses aren't that similar. But we'll decide to merge those together. Here, both first and last name are the same, so we'll merge together. This one we'll keep separate, this one will merge, and so on and so forth. This one, maybe the first name is the same, and even the first letter of the last name is the same, but that's not close enough. You can make these decisions for whatever it is in your situation. Oh, looks like we finished the first batch, but we're still at very low confidence. So let's go ahead and do one more. This one will keep separate, this one will merge together, this one will keep separate as well, so on and so forth until we reach the end. Right now we're reviewing this another batch, and now we've jumped up to 81.7%. Great. This feels like something that's maybe good enough to automatically merge. So let's go ahead and jump to that next step. At this point, we'll note then that these examples were helping to teach Dana how to handle the remaining rows. And given the current confidence, would you like me to deal with the remaining conflicts automatically, or would it be better to review a few more? Given this level, I think it's better that we can just do it automatically. Also, looking around, we can see like some of these users in the different tables that we could focus on later. So we have this Malik Taylor with a campaign ID of June A and a summer special name. Okay, look at that. It's already done. Let's go ahead and jump to this integrated table where we can search for Malik again. And we'll notice that, yes, indeed, there's only one of them, which means things got merged. And there is a campaign ID of June A and a campaign name of Summer Special. We'll also notice then that there's an opportunity ID of 327, as well as a stage of purchased. What we should then be able to find then, based on this sanity check, is that if we go to the Salesforce table and look for the same user, if we scroll around a bit, we'll notice that this isn't within the first few rows. So let's actually go search for this. And this user then should actually have the same opportunity ID. Yep, it's 327 and the stage is purchased. Wonderful. And that shows that the merge has actually happened quite successfully. And as another sanity check, we can also note that the new integrated customers data tab contains 822 rows. Now, if we look into the new generated ID, it starts with 0. And that means that if we scroll all the way down, as we increment by 1, we should actually get to an ID of 821. And yep, that's exactly what we see. On this left-hand side, we see a number of examples with NAs, which is cases where the MailChimp data was not joined with the Salesforce data. As we scroll up, we'll have cases where we have MailChimp data, but not Salesforce data. At the very top, we have examples where it's the 688 rows that were merged together that contain information from both. As a final step, let's go back to our original query. According to the integrated customers table, what is the number of users at each sales stage? Limited to just the anniversary sale campaign. As usual, Dana will do some thinking and realize that subscriber or contact ID can be used to count the number of users. Voila, we are now using our new integrated customers table to run the query, which gets us an accurate answer right away. That's data integration in a nutshell. Our goal at Soleta is to provide the world's most useful and reliable AI agent. So building on top of the sanity checks, we are now working to add more elements so you can trust that your data is being transformed precisely and correctly every time.